If you want to learn more about modular synths, then this video is for you. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Kirsten and I'm an audiovisual artist under the name Naoki. I've also recently written the book Performing Electronic Music Live, and one of my chapters talks about how you can perform electronic music without a laptop. So one way of doing that is by using modular synths, and I've got a special guest here today, my friend and colleague Matt Gooderson, who's kindly written a tutorial for my chapter and is also going to present to you the same tutorial in video format. So you can of course also watch this video without reading the book. However, if you want to find out more about what electronic artists do on stage, please do check out my book, which I will link down below in the description. So Matt's had quite an intriguing career. In the past, he would travel the world as the guitar player and collaborative composer / producer of the hugely successful electronic rock band the Infadels. Nowadays, he's the course leader of a renowned London University music degree. Meanwhile, he's also with David Shepherd together in Snow Palms, and they make contemporary electronic music which is inspired by 1960s minimalism. As part of Snow Palms, Matt's exploring different modular synth setups, and he's going to show you one of his setups in this video. So I'm going to pass over to Matt now.
Hi, my name is Matt Gooderson and welcome to my how to build a hardware setup modular tutorial. So what we can see on the table are 3 small modular cases and a really tidy digital mixer by 1010 Music called the Blue Box. The first thing to really understand if you're not familiar with modular is not to be scared. Modular is an incredible world, and what ultimately it does is it opens the case for you to have a greater role in the creation of your instrument. And that is what I love the most about modular. Secondly, working in a hardware setup seems to somehow spiritually connect you as a performer to the instruments in much the same way as a guitar, a piano or a violin. So don't be scared, dive in. It's a really fun and exciting world, if a little daunting at first. The first thing to understand in this setup is that the pitch is controlled using the Make Noise René sequencer, and the René sequencer outputs 16 different pitches. But to hear the pitch, we also need to send a trigger, and for that I'm using a Pamela's new workout, which is essentially a clock keeping the whole thing in time, a bit like a metronome would for a band. And then I'm using this Intellijel Tetrapad, which is set to the Euclidean rhythm generator, and there's loads of great stuff on Euclidean rhythms online, so if you're interested in that, go and do some digging because they're really fun. But anyway, I'm going to trigger the first Euclidean rhythm. And you can hear that that sound is connected to this Karplus strong synthesizer voice, which is physical modelling a stringed instrument, and there's 4 of them in this case. Maybe because I'm a guitarist, that gives me some aesthetic connection, I don't know, but I love the sound of these voices. I think they're really interesting. And this does get slightly confusing. This is going into a sample and hold module, which essentially is freezing the pitch every time a rhythm is triggered. You don't need to worry too much about that, but essentially that just allows pitches to remain stable with different rhythmic variations. And the pitches are also going through an Intellijel Quantizer. And the reason for that is I personally really like quantizers because you can key certain notes on and off really simply. But this one also gives a second output B, where you can set at an interval. So we can see we're 2 semitones up. So we'll come to what that sounds like. And then it's all going through a low pass gate, which gives greater rhythmic control. So if we close the gate, we can hear the magic of that sound going through that gate, opening and closing. So if I turn this dial here, we will hear the pitch increase. So I can take some of the pitches out if I choose, and you see, because it was a F sharp, it bounces up. Sorry, it was an F, it bounces up to an F sharp when I remove the F. And the way the sequencer works is we've got to tell the sequencer to move on to the next channel if we want to change pitch. So I can do that using these touch plates. Or we can activate all three touch plates and then it will scroll. Now the 4 Euclidean rhythmic generators are all connected. These are the outputs. They're connected firstly to the 2 HP Pluck Karplus string voices, and also to the sample and hold to tell the sample and hold module when to hold the pitches. But I've got, maybe confusingly, the first one only controlling this gate. So if I press this one, you can't hear it despite it triggering, because the gate is not being opened. And that's just a personal choice. But if I do open the gate, you can hear when I press this to trigger the part, you can hear that breaking through. Now, if I trigger these two, these are set on the interval to a semitone up. And that gives a really, to me, lovely melodic texture to it. Now, if I trigger all of them, let's have a listen to what that sounds like. So we can hear that is scrolling around these 3 pitches, and the pitches are sent to all 4 2 HP Plucks. But Pluck 3 and 4 are going through a harmonic interval shift. But in order to add additional melody into this setup, I hooked up a pressure point, which is essentially fairly similar to this, the Make Noise René. It even looks fairly similar, and each one of these dials corresponds to control voltage being sent out. But this lead is going into the CV input of the René, and what that essentially does is it shifts the pitch of the entire sequence. It modulates the pitch up or down. So let's listen to that. I'll put it back on the third one, which is what it was on. And you can see how much musicality that brings to the table. And for me, I really love that complexity in music, and I personally struggle when things get stuck in too rigid a melodic loop. And this works by activating the touch plates. We can store 4 different voltages, so that instead of turning this dial allows me to create a moving sequence that I have performance control over. And there you have it, the modular system with 4 voices, pitch from the René, sample and hold, which allows different rhythms to sample certain pitches and hold them steady, everything running off a metronome or the source's clock, harmonic intervals and quantize delivered by the quantizer, using a natural gate, which is a low pass gate to give extra rhythmic bite, and Euclidean rhythms generated by the Intellijel Tetrapad, and full harmonic modulations using the pressure points into the René. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful and enjoy hardware modular setups. I've been Matt Gooderson, and it's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed Matt's modular setup. I find it really fascinating how you can create such beautiful and detailed music with such stripped back tools. There's no DAW here, there are no keyboard controlled synths, none of the normal commercial tools that we're all used to. And I think that's quite inspiring. So thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more tutorials like this, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and press the bell, and I will see you next time. Bye!